Between 1946 and 1950, the Kirov Oblast was gripped by a wave of terror. Wolf attacks had become a serious and deadly problem across several districts. In 1946 alone, hunters killed a staggering 560 wolves, but this was just the beginning. Over the next 3 years, with help from Moscow, hunters managed to kill 1,520 wolves, despite the near-impossible task due to post-war transportation shortages. In 1947, wolves appeared in the Rusanovo settlement, killing a small girl and 13-year-old Veniamin Fokin. They didn't stop there. Wolves attacked Anna Mikiva and her mother near Chernyadevo village, and the brutality didn't end until a special brigade of hunters intervened. The summer of 1948 saw 9 children aged 7 to 12 killed in horrifying attacks. And in November of that year, 8-year-old Svetlana Tueva was carried into the forest by 5 wolves, only for her coat to be found later. The nightmare continued into 1950, with more children falling victim to these relentless predators. Join us as we delve into the harrowing years of 1946 to 1950, uncovering the untold stories of survival, tragedy, and the relentless fight against these fierce predators. This is Savage Tales, Animal Encounters. Welcome back to Savage Tales, Animal Encounters. In our last episodes, we took a deep dive into the terrifying wolf attacks that plagued the Kirov Oblast during the tumultuous years of 1944 and 1945. From the tragic loss of 13-year-old Valentina Starikova to the relentless assaults on children like 8-year-old Tamara Musinova, these stories of fear and survival left an indelible mark on the region. But the terror didn't end there. Between 1946 and 1950, the situation grew even more dire as wolf attacks became a daily nightmare across multiple districts. If you find these stories compelling, please hit that subscribe button and click the bell icon to stay updated with our latest episodes. Your support helps us bring more of these incredible stories to light. Savage Tales, Animal Encounters, we bring you the most gripping and dramatic stories of human and animal interactions from history. From predator attacks to miraculous survivals, our channel is dedicated to exploring the wild and untamed corners of our world. So join us as we continue our journey into the dark and dangerous history of the Kirov Oblast wolf attacks. Remember, in the wild, every encounter has a story, and every story is a tale of survival. This is Savage Tales, Animal Encounters. In this episode, we delve into one of the darkest periods in the Kirov Oblast's history. The horrific wolf attacks that plagued the region between 1946 and 1950. As we explore these chilling events, we'll uncover how these relentless predators terrorized multiple districts, leading to a series of tragic incidents and an unprecedented response from local hunters. The forests of Russia hold many secrets. Some are beautiful, some are strange, and some are terrifying. Between 1944 and 1954, the Kirov Oblast region faced a terror from the forest wolves. These were not just isolated incidents. These were persistent, deliberate attacks on the most vulnerable children. For 10 years, the shadow of these attacks hung over the region. People were afraid to let their children out of their sight. The stories of the attacks spread, becoming almost legend. But these weren't myths. They were a horrifying reality. These attacks weren't the work of a single wolf or even a single pack. This was a pattern of behavior that indicated something was deeply wrong in the natural balance, something that drove the wolves to target the most vulnerable prey again and again. The Kirov wolf attacks stand as a chilling reminder of the power of nature and the fragility of human life when confronted with the wild. Between 1946 and 1950, wolf attacks became a severe problem across several districts. Dorovsky, Lubyarsky, Sovetsky, Nolinsky, Kalturinsky, and Orychevsky. The relentless nature of these predators forced hunters into a desperate battle for survival. In 1946, hunters in the Kirov Oblast killed an extraordinary 560 wolves, a staggering figure that highlighted the severity of the wolf problem. This unusually high harvest was just the beginning of a series of attacks that would plague the region over the next few years. Despite this aggressive culling, the wolf problem persisted. The following 3 years saw hunters from Kirov, with aid from Moscow, taking down a further 1,520 wolves. The task was daunting, compounded by the near-total lack of transportation to rural settlements in the post-war period. The year 1947 saw the wolves becoming increasingly bold. In August and September, the Rusanovo settlement became a hotspot for attacks. A small girl and 13-year-old Veniamin Fokin were killed during this period. The ferocity of these attacks showcased a troubling escalation in the wolves' behavior. But the terror did not end there. In a harrowing incident, a wolf carried off a small girl from a threshing floor where she was playing with several older girls. The growing boldness of the wolves was evident as they began targeting more vulnerable prey. Near Chernyardievo in the Rusanovsky district, 2 wolves attacked Anna Mikhaeva and her mother while they were treating linen on a field. Although Anna's mother managed to fend off the attackers with a sheaf, the wolves caught Anna. A chilling blood trail led to thick juniper bushes, where Anna was found with severe wounds. This tragic event forced a special brigade of hunters to intervene, bringing a temporary end to the attacks in that area. The year 1948 brought even more horror. Between July and August, 9 children aged 7 to 12 were killed in various incidents across the Kirov Oblast. The most tragic of these occurred on November 17th in the Nolinsky district. 8-year-old Svetlana Tueva was walking home from school with 2 other girls and a man when 5 wolves attacked. The man managed to escape by climbing a tree, and the other girls ran back to the school. A search of the forest concluded with the discovery of Svetlana's coat, but no trace of her was found. The nightmare continued into 1950. During the July to August period, 3 girls and a boy aged 3 to 6 were killed in the Lubyarsky district. The pattern of these attacks demonstrated the wolves' continued aggression and the persistent danger they posed to the region's children. These years of terror were marked by an unprecedented level of violence and fear as communities struggled to defend themselves against these relentless predators. The wolf attacks between 1946 and 1950 represent one of the darkest chapters in the Kirov Oblast's history. The bravery of the hunters and the resilience of the affected communities shine through these tragic tales, highlighting the incredible efforts made to protect against such fearsome adversaries. The victims of the Kirov wolf attacks were all young, the majority being children. The youngest victim was only 3 years old. The oldest was a 17-year-old, still just on the cusp of adulthood. They were sons and daughters, brothers and sisters, all lost to the wolves. These children were often playing near the edges of the forest or traveling to and from school when they were attacked. They were easy prey for the wolves, smaller and weaker than adults. The loss of these children devastated the communities. Parents were afraid to let their children out of their sight. The fear was palpable. People felt helpless against the threat of the wolves. The attacks on these children were brutal and swift. The wolves, driven by hunger, were relentless. They often attacked in packs, overwhelming their victims with sheer force. The timing of the attacks was no coincidence. They were concentrated between April and December, a period that coincided with wolf cubbing season. During this time, wolves are at their most vulnerable and their most dangerous. Wolves are devoted parents, and they will do whatever it takes to feed their young. During cubbing season, their food requirements increase dramatically. This puts immense pressure on the pack to find enough prey. In the Kirov Oblast, the war had depleted the natural prey of the wolves. Deer, boar, and other animals were scarce. This meant that the wolves had to look elsewhere for food, and they found it, tragically, in the form of children. These weren't isolated incidents. The frequency and brutality of the attacks pointed to a desperate situation. The wolves were starving, and they were teaching their cubs to hunt the most readily available prey. To understand the Kirov wolf attacks, we must understand the historical context. The attacks happened in the aftermath of World War II. The Soviet Union, including the Kirov Oblast, had been ravaged by the conflict. The war had a devastating impact on the environment. Forests were destroyed, and wildlife populations were decimated. This ecological disruption had a profound effect on the delicate balance of predator and prey. The war also led to widespread food shortages. People were struggling to survive, and many turned to hunting to supplement their meager rations. This further depleted the already scarce wildlife, putting even more pressure on the wolves. The Kirov Oblast, already a remote and challenging environment, was pushed to the brink by the war. The wolves, their natural prey decimated, were forced to make impossible choices. The result was a tragedy for both humans and animals. As we conclude our three-part series delving into the wolf attacks that plagued the Kirov Oblast from 1944 to 1954, we've witnessed a harrowing series of events that unfolded over a decade. From the shocking incidents of 1944 and 1945, where wolves brazenly attacked children in broad daylight, to the escalating terror between 1946 and 1950, where entire districts were gripped by fear, each story has revealed the dark reality faced by these communities. We've followed the grim tales of courage and tragedy, from the young lives lost in Rusanovo and Chernihiv to the relentless pursuit of survivors in Lelinsky and Lebiashki. Each attack underscores the sheer ferocity of these predators and the extraordinary efforts taken to combat them. If you found this deep dive into history both fascinating and unsettling, please give this video a thumbs up and share it with others who might be interested. Don't forget to subscribe to Savage Tales Animal Encounters and hit the bell icon so you never miss an episode. We appreciate you joining us on this journey through one of history's most chilling chapters. Your support helps us continue bringing you the most compelling and intense stories of human and animal encounters. Thank you for watching, and remember, every encounter in the wild has a story, and every story is a tale of survival. Until next time, stay safe and stay curious.